Battle between labor activists and Tim Hortons franchise owners is coming to a boil this morning as organizers call for protests today at locations across Ontario. Picketers are angry over what they call outrageous cuts by some franchise owners. Numerous locations have been reporting since the new year have slashed employee hours, benefits and paid breaks and have blamed Ontario's new higher minimum wage. Pressure is mounting for the parent company to respond. That's Restaurant Brands International. Let's take you right now live to the scene at a Tim Hortons in Toronto. There's our reporter Linda Ward. This is one of about a dozen Tims, which is expecting protest activity today. So, Linda, what is happening there so far?
Well, Heather, the protest really just getting underway here. They're starting to hand out these flyers, tell Tim Hortons, hands off workers, wages and benefits, handing out buttons. There's going to be signs, there's going to be speeches. Now, as you mentioned, about a dozen locations across the province. The Ontario Federation of Labour has organized these protests today to send a message to Tim Hortons' head office, the parent company. They say that some franchises have started cutting paid breaks. They've also cut some benefits, even allowances for things like uniforms or a cup of coffee, amongst some other things. And not all franchises have done this. A couple of franchises have had workers come forward saying that these kinds of things have started happening at their locations since the province raised the minimum wage to $14 an hour on January 1st. So the Ontario Federation of Labour President Chris Buckley joins me now. Can you just tell us about some of what you're hearing from employees at the Tim Hortons locations that you've heard from so far?
Yeah, since the first of the year, we're getting a number of calls across the province. Different franchises are disadvantaging workers because they finally got an increase in their pay. We find it very disrespectful. In fact, it's vindictive. We're here to send every franchise a strong message that although they might not be doing anything negative to their employees today, we want them to phone head office, contact head office, and have head office use their influence to reverse any negativity towards these workers. The Ontario Federation of Labour right across the province is going to support Tim Hortons workers. We're going to support every worker across the province, regardless if they belong to a union or not. We expect every business in the province of Ontario to live up to the spirit of the law. And my remarks to workers across the province that are in precarious type jobs like this, we can protect you by joining a union. So I ask every worker, if they're being disadvantaged, if they feel they're being treated unfairly by their employer because they finally got a well-deserved raise, no better way to correct that than to join a union in the province of Ontario, and we will protect you. Today, we're here to send this franchise a message that if you dare disrespect these workers, we are going to be here in your backyard every day. But I also reached out to the CEO of RBI, and I'm going to give him an opportunity to correct this situation. He has the power to correct this situation, and if he chooses not to, the labor movement will mobilize across the province like this province hasn't seen in a very long time. We are not going away. We fought long and hard for 2 years to improve the lives of workers in the province of Ontario, and we're going to make sure that workers' lives are improved.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. That was Chris Buckley, President of the Ontario Federation of Labour, that's organizing today's action. Now, he mentioned reaching out to Restaurant Brands International. We have heard from them previously saying that this is the work of a group of rogue franchisees. They say they don't support it. It doesn't reflect their values, that workers should not be used as treated as an expense. We've also, though, heard from a number of franchisees speaking through their association, Heather, saying that if Tim Hortons head office wants to help them deal with this pay raise, that they can do so by cutting supply costs or even raising the price of a cup of coffee. Heather.